Every year, millions of people make a decision. A real one, not a wish, a decision. New body, new income, new habits. A version of themselves they genuinely believe they can become. And statistically, 92% of them won't follow through. Not because they're lazy, not because the goal was wrong, but because there are 3 specific mistakes almost everyone makes. Mistakes that are invisible until it's too late. If you've ever started something with full conviction and quietly stopped 3 weeks later, this isn't about motivation, it's about design. By the end of this, you'll understand exactly why that happens, and more importantly, what to actually do instead. Let's talk about someone named Alex. Alex is 32, smart, capable, genuinely motivated. Every year, Alex sets goals. 2021, get in shape. 2022, launch a side business. 2023, wake up at 5 a.m. consistently. 2024, start investing. Each time, Alex starts strong, buys the course, downloads the app, watches the right content, tells a few people. And then, somewhere around week 2 or 3, nothing. Not a dramatic failure, just silence. The strange part, Alex isn't unusual. Alex is most people. The problem isn't the effort. Alex tries. The problem is something deeper, the design of the goal itself. There are 3 layers to this, and once you see them, you can't unsee them. The first mistake is the hardest to admit. Most people are not chasing their own goals. They're chasing goals they inherited. Earn 6 figures, get abs, own a home before 35, start a business. None of those are inherently wrong, but ask yourself, where did that specific goal actually come from? Was it built from a genuine internal need, or was it shaped by what looks impressive, what gets approval, what signals success to the people around you? There's a useful question here. It's simple, but it cuts through a lot of noise. If nobody could ever know you achieved this goal, no praise, no recognition, no visible proof, would you still want it? Take a moment with that, because for a lot of goals people carry, the honest answer is probably not. The human brain is wired for belonging and status. That's not a character flaw, it's biology. We instinctively orient toward goals that get social confirmation. The problem is that the brain can tell the difference between what we genuinely want and what we're performing for others. When there's a mismatch, it creates internal resistance, and that resistance eventually wins. This is why people with genuinely self-directed goals, even less glamorous ones, tend to outlast people chasing impressive-sounding targets. Ownership sustains effort. Performance doesn't. Here's where it gets uncomfortable. Everyone wants the outcome. Almost nobody wants what the outcome actually requires. You want the body, not necessarily the training schedule that requires discipline on the days you're tired. You want the business revenue, not necessarily the dry, unglamorous grind of building something when results are slow. You want the financial freedom, not necessarily the years of restraint it takes to get there. This isn't cynicism, it's just how desire works. The brain gravitates toward the image of success, not the reality of it. Motivation operates on novelty. A new goal feels exciting precisely because it's new. The brain releases something like a reward signal when you imagine the future version of yourself, the fit one, the successful one, the disciplined one. But as the novelty wears off, and it always does, usually within 2 to 3 weeks, that reward signal disappears, and what's left is just the repetitive, unsexy work, the exact thing the brain is trying to minimize. This is why the concept of discipline matters more than motivation. Motivation is a feeling, it fluctuates. Discipline is structural, it removes the decision entirely. There's a phrase worth writing down. You don't rise to your goals, you fall to your systems. Think about someone learning guitar. Day 1, you buy the guitar. That feels meaningful. Day 3, you play a few chords. Genuinely enjoyable. But day 12, you're running chromatic scales. It's not exciting, it's just necessary. Most people quit on day 12, not because they don't want to play guitar, because they fell in love with the image of playing guitar, not the reality of learning it. The shift is simple to describe and harder to execute. Fall in love with the daily behavior, not just the destination. This is probably the least talked about and the most important. Your brain has a working model of who you are. It's built from patterns, what you've done before, how you've responded under pressure, what feels normal for someone like you. When a goal feels too distant from that model, the brain treats it as a threat, not a literal one, a psychological one, something that doesn't compute, something that belongs to a different kind of person. If you've always seen yourself as bad with money, a goal of building real wealth doesn't just feel difficult, it feels fake, like a costume you're wearing. That gap is where procrastination lives. People often assume procrastination is about laziness or fear. Sometimes it is, but often it's simply the brain protecting a consistent self-image. Someone like me doesn't do that. It's not a conscious thought, but it's there. The solution isn't to lower your ambitions, it's to restructure how you frame the goal. Instead of, I want to earn 100K, try, I am becoming someone who consistently increases their income. Instead of, I want to lose weight, try, I am someone who shows up to train even when it's inconvenient. The difference sounds small, the psychological impact is not. When the goal is identity-based, every small action becomes evidence. Each training session is proof that you're the kind of person who trains. Each saving decision confirms that you're the kind of person who builds financial discipline. You're not chasing an outcome, you're reinforcing a new self-image, one action at a time. So now the question is practical. If those are the 3 mistakes, what does a better approach actually look like? It comes down to 3 layers, each one addressing a specific failure point. Layer 1. Emotional ownership. Before committing to any goal, get honest about why it actually matters to you, not the polished answer, the real one. Ask, what specific problem does achieving this solve? What does my life look like without it in 5 years? And would I pursue this if no external validation existed? If you can answer those clearly, and you mean it, that's a goal you'll be able to sustain. Layer 2. System before outcome. Define the specific, repeatable behavior that makes the goal inevitable, not the result itself. Lose 10 kilos is an outcome. Train 3 times per week and prepare food on Sundays is a system. The outcome is a byproduct of the system. Stop tracking the destination and start tracking the behavior. Layer 3. Identity-first framing. Write a single sentence that starts with, I am the type of person who, and finish it with the behavior, not the outcome. I am the type of person who shows up consistently even when progress is slow. Read it back. If it feels honest, even slightly, you have somewhere to build from. If it feels completely foreign, you found the real gap to work on. 3 layers. Most people skip all 3 and go straight to the goal number. Here's what this looks like stretched over time. 2 people start on the same day, same goal, similar circumstances. Person A sets a result-based goal, gets excited, hits the inevitable plateau, loses motivation, and quietly stops. Person B defines a system, commits to small, repeatable actions, has a clear sense of who they're becoming, and keeps moving. In month 1, they look identical. By month 6, the gap starts to show. By the end of the year, the difference is significant, not because of talent or luck, but because of alignment. The gap isn't dramatic in any individual day. It's the accumulation of small, consistent actions that were never abandoned. Before you set your next goal, ask 3 questions. Is this mine? Not borrowed from expectation or pressure, genuinely mine. Do I respect the process? Not just the destination, the actual daily work it requires. Does it match who I'm becoming? Not who I wish I were, who I'm actively building myself to be. The 8% who follow through aren't superhuman. They're not operating on willpower alone. They've simply built goals that are aligned, with their actual values, with a system they can sustain, and with an identity they're actively constructing. That's not inspiration, that's engineering. Design better goals, build a better self.